Hello, my name is Francesca.
And I am Victor, and we are research assistants in the Client Center.
And today we're going to go over how to use Archer and create different types of queries. So to first access Archer, you need to go to the Archer webpage on the Client Center website and click the doi.org link on the page. This will take you to the Illinois Data Bank, where you can fill out the Archer Access Request form. And this is where you can give your information, and after you fill this out, you will get an email that will grant you access to Archer, and the dashboard will look like this. One other note about the Illinois Data Bank is that you will also find various resources such as the user manual and the code book. We're going to go over a handful of variables, but there's many variables within Archer, and so you'll find specific information about each variable within the code book. So once I'm in Archer, I know that to create a collection, I have to click on this green plus sign. I can also rename my collection to keep things organized. Within a collection, I create a snapshot, and this is where my query will be held. But I can also rename my snapshot, once again, for organizational purposes. And from here, I want to do a query that explores bird flu-related articles in the USA from the past 10 years. How do I do that, Victor?
Okay, so for this query, we go to the query page first, the second tab, and first we want to add a text field, and so we want to specify with that the keywords that we want to search. In this case, the bird flu. So we type in bird flu in the bar, and then don't forget to add a quotation mark, so that will make bird flu a single word. So if we don't add the quotation mark, we are going to search for articles that include both bird and flu. The second variable we want to add is a nominal field, so it's a second icon. So in this case, we want to search for bird flu in the United States. So we choose the variables and the last drop-down menu to the country, and then we enter the United States in the searching bar. So we can also use the text query to search the country, but in this case, if we choose the nominal field, then we are going to have choices to select from, which is more convenient. And for the third query, we want to add a date query. So we want to specify the date from 10 years from now. It's like 2015, January, and to
about today.
Right. And lastly, we want to add another nominal field in our query. So this time we want to select the corpus we're using. So the variable is going to be the source name, the default one. And we have several choices. So the corpus in GNI is like a database. So we have several databases to choose from, and each database collects different types of data. For example, the New York Times database is that Client Center have collaboration with the New York Times acquire their data. Same logic applied to LexisNexis. But here, for now, we are using the web database, web corpus. So this is the most unique corpus that Client Center have, because we monitor over 500 media in the US and real-time scraping their news articles. So we have like over 1 million articles each year. Now
so this is pretty much all the parameters I mapped out. I'm going to click Done to save the query. This takes us back to our dashboard. And to run the query, I'm going to click on this circular blue arrow here. So this has pulled about 21,000 articles.
Yeah, so we can see there are 4 default variables in our results page. And the first one is an AID, which is the unique ID assigned to each article. But we can modify the variables that we want to see. So we click the cog icon, and we can drag variables from left to the right to add it to our results page. And we can also delete our variables by dragging them from the right to the left. So this time we're going to add 2 variables. The first one is going to be the country variable, so we can see whether our selection works. And the other one is the URL variable, so we can see where this article comes from.
And I will get rid of source name because we've already specified that they will all come from the web corpus, and the article ID is not necessary for me. So I will save this and I will rerun the query. And now here we have the title, publication date, country, and URL for each article. And if I click on the article, I can see this more in depth. Once we have the articles that are sufficient for your query, I will save the query and the snapshot. And to save this data, this metadata, I will click the downwards arrow, which will save your data as a .tsv file, which can be accessed through a text editor or Excel. And that is a more simple version of the query. This is the end of part 1. If you would like to move on to learn a more complex query involving sentiment and more variables, please go to part 2 on the Archer webpage on the Klein Center website.